medley of short songs by Claude Debussy. It's so nice to hear a truly authentic performance like this one, recorded with original instruments on the Das Alte Werk label. Now, most of you know that Wolfgang Mozart lived during the transitional period between Baroque and disco, so we might expect to find his music influenced by both styles. Let's listen to the next selection, Mozart's Eine kleine Boogie-Nacht music, K525, and see if we can hear ideas coming from either style.
Ciao.
I know what you're talking about.
Baby.
Yeah, you remember the time.
Hey, hey, hey.
Well, I want to know is, are they dancing?
They're dancing, baby.
Are they boogieing?
Get down,
They're
boogie.
getting
Drop it
down,
into some
man.
funk, baby.
All right.
Keep on dancing.
Get down on the
What I
west
know,
side.
get down.
Hey, brother and sister.
Yeah, you
gonna
know
take
what
you
I'm
down
talking
to the bridge and make you free.
Drop it.
You know what I mean? Drop your arm into some funk, man. All right, funky.
Yeah, what they doing? What they doing?
They dancing across the floor,
They
man.
getting down.
Ooh, that mule kicking out there,
Remember the
brother.
time, baby.
Oh, I remember.
Still boogie.
Party boogie.
Party, baby.
Party party.
Get down. Bye-bye.
Sounded to me like he was most influenced by the Baroque style. What did you think? By the way, we heard the Vienna State Opera Orchestra under the direction of Kevin. Next, we hear a very hard-to-find recording of Bach's piano works, performed by Kathy O'Harold. Isn't it a coincidence that this piano virtuoso should have the same last name as I have? This is Bach's two-part invention, number 1 in C. Isn't the pianist just wonderful? After a performance like that, I have to play the next band. Bach's Invention Number 4. Now we've reached the part of the program where I like to tell you a little about the culture and how times really were during the Baradisco period. For the past 7 weeks, I've been reading for you excerpts from the historical novel Lady Mozart's Lovers by Charlotte Johnston, a paperback from Harlequin Books Incorporated. If you remember from last week, you see Mrs. Mozart and Mr. Chopin met at a dance and went out on the back porch to talk. Okay, here we go. "Oh, Fred, you're such a wonderful dancer," said Mrs. Mozart. "So are you, darling," said Frederick, "and beautiful." Mrs. Mozart blushed and turned away shyly. After a moment she turned back to him and said, "Don't you just love that new Strauss waltz they played?" "It's okay, but I've written songs that were just as good." "Oh, you're a songwriter?" asked Mrs. Mozart. "Yes. Why, listen, they're playing one of my preludes now. Do you care to dance?" "I'd rather not right now," said Mrs. Mozart. "I feel a little light-headed because of the champagne. Besides, I'd rather just stay here and talk to you." Frederick put his arms around her slender waist and gently pulled her close. Mrs. Mozart looked up into Frederick's warm brown eyes. As their lips touched, Mrs. Mozart felt this was the happiest moment in her life. That sly devil Chopin. I'll read on from there next week. I bet you can't wait. I know, neither can I. Having mentioned Johann Strauss, we now hear one of his famous waltzes. Strauss, as you know, was terribly fond of his mother-in-law, Miss Pam Smith, and often frequented her house after a wild night out on the town. The piece which we now hear was written a week after Pam's death by a Johann Strauss sunk deep into depression. His sorrow can be felt in the music, with its dark orchestral tones and its somber dirge-like tempo. The Sorrowful Waltz for Pam by Johann Strauss. Such emotion! It brings tears to my tired old eyes. So now, as a change of pace, we'll hear from a lively little tune performed by the Miami Motet Singers. Ish Ledishma, lute and soprano, Carl Driggs, tenor, Joe Galdo, bass, Charlie Mucciano, harpsichord, Arnold Pasiero, violoncello, and Richie Punte Jr., percussion, with the Bernardo horns, Bert Dovo conductor. Did you notice that barely perceptible variance in pitch at the end? Probably not, since none of you have perfect pitch as accurately as I, but believe me, I could tell that the instruments and vocalists were beginning to go sharp as they warmed up near the end. Well, it looks like we have time for only one more song, so I'll play another cut off the album Greatest Hits for Baroque Saxophone, which we heard earlier in our program. This is Mozart's sax duet in E-flat, Opus 16, number 3.
Second time through the beginning.
Right.
1, 2, 3. second time through that. Next 1, 2, 3.
With that, we must end this program of supernal music. Do join me next week when you will hear and and as well as other of your Barra Disco favorites. Please judge me and every program, not by each specific performance and each program, but by my overall contribution to your cultural enlightenment and entertainment. So do write me at once. You know, the little mail I've been getting from you is no indication, or a very poor indication, of how many of you dote on this program. Over the years, many of you tell me how reluctant you've been to write because of letter or card writing phobias, which we all have. Also, you're afraid of getting on junk mail lists. Fear not, for I never violate your confidence. I sell your names only to the best junk mail lists. So do write now and don't delay, or you might not have this fine program to write to anymore. And I hope the announcer here always gives you the station's address. I hope you are as grateful to this station as you should be for giving you this super program. The only way to keep me on the air is to become a member of the Barra Disco Society or to renew your membership. Now, all you need to do is drop me a line and ask me for details of joining the Barra Disco Society. preferably with sweet words, and I will answer in person. So please, write me at once. Just to Mr. O'Harold, capital M-R period, capital O, apostrophe, or single quotation mark, whichever you prefer, capital H-A-R-O-L-D. And until next week, this is Humble Me, wishing you a happy week filled with Baradisco music. Oh, by the way, if the announcer ever forgets to give you the station's address, please call him up immediately and ask him why he didn't. One more thing before we finish. Hi, Mom. Sorry I haven't written lately. Sharon and the kids are all fine. Thanks for listening, and you might want to renew your membership soon. And say hi to Dad for me.
We've been listening to O'Harold and his unique program of Baradisco music. We urge you to write your reactions to O'Harold and ask for information about joining the Baradisco Society. That's how to perpetuate and spread the kinds of Baradisco music just heard. Write to Mr. O'Harold, care of this station. That's capital O, apostrophe capital H-E-R-A-L-D. And be with us next week at the same time for another hour of beautiful Baradisco music with O'Harold.
What'd you think of this week's show, Tom?
You're a genius.
Oh, cut it out. Hey, that was some beautiful babe I saw you with Friday night.
Where at?
Down at Murphy's place.
Yeah, she is fine, isn't she? Easy, too. You really ought to try her.
Oh, yeah? You got her number?
Yeah. Here it is. 531-5213.
Ah, thanks. Where'd you meet her?
Well, I was down by the waterfront.
Hey,
Yeah?
Did you leave the mic switch open?
I don't... Yeah, but I don't think anything went...
Saturday, August 16th, KPLU-FM presents 94 musicians. Those carbohydrate-burning strings, winds, and percussionists on stage. If this doesn't give you a head rush, nothing will. You'll hear Kundyk's Overture to a Celebration, Brahms' Violin Concerto in D, and Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 4. Listen to the Utah Symphony Concert Saturday at 8:05, an event you won't want to miss.